Would you like to catch more fish? Of course you would. We all do. Today, I'm going to teach you how to make a brush bait fish that'll knock anything in the dirt that eats other fish. Hang around. Okay, so the first thing that I start with is my old man glasses. I need these to see anymore. But what we've got is a 2/0, kind of a shorter shank hook, right? And this is actually from the Fly Tires Dungeon. It's a 2/0. MS 100 Big Game is what they've got this classed at. My opinion of these things is they're a bit cheap. So I'm going to use what I've got, and then I'm never going to buy these again. I would recommend that you not buy them either. As far as Fly Tires Dungeon is concerned, they've got a great selection of other things, especially their tying materials. But in my opinion, they kind of missed their mark with these hooks. If you're catching largemouth bass or something like that, it's fine. But if you're going, on a huge trip that requires a lot of money spent, I would probably go ahead and make the investment to get gamakatsus. But you never know until you try, and I certainly did. So the first thing that I've started off with here is just a little bit of thread around the base of this hook, just right back to the bend of it, and then I'm going to zap that with a little bit of super glue, just to kind of secure everything down a little bit. The tail of this fly is actually made out of craft fur, this white stuff right here. What you want to do is you want to try to get some stuff that is fairly long, right? And then you want a good solid pinch of that. Again, this is a 2/0 hook, so it's about one of my knuckles. So you want this to be probably about 3 times that length. Cut off a good glob of that. Some people like to pull the what they call the guard hairs out of this. I don't really care to, because I want it to be kind of bushy at the back side of it. So I'll take this around, make sure that I get it all the way around my hook shank, and then I'm going to secure it in. And just in the interest of full disclosure, I've always been under the impression of kind of a Lee Wolf style of fly tying. I don't really ever tie anything that's going to look just perfect, right? I like to tie stuff that zigzags, moves around a bunch, looks like an injured fish that can't get away, right? Lee Wolf often tied flies just in his fingers without a vise, and he just wanted it to look like some crippled bug that couldn't get away from the fish, and he noticed that the fish ate them a lot more readily. All right, so now that we've got that back there, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab a little piece of a brush, right? This is just EP fibers, it's a brush. It's made by Hairline, and this is the Invader series. But what I've got is one that's white on the tips and chartreuse on the inside of it. And what I've noticed with a lot of bait fish is that you see a little bit of a yellow sheen to them. So like sardinas especially, right? You see those yellows and green sheens a lot in those fish. But like shad that I see locally in the southern United States, you always see a little bit of a yellow glow to them. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take this, pull this fiber back like this, and then I'm just going to palmer it forward. And it doesn't have to be super thick. It can be pretty sparse, but I just want to work this to where none of the fibers kind of get trapped by itself, right? And then I'm just going to work my way forward. As uniform as what I can. But again, it doesn't really matter all that much. The fish don't seem to care. If they see something that looks like it's not going to be able to get away, it seems like it just makes them more aggressive. So I'm going to go almost all the way to the eye of the hook, and then I'm going to secure this down, right? Take a few wraps in the front of it. I like to keep special scissors for cutting these things. I don't like to use my new cutters. You know, these scissors right here, they cut my gummy materials really well and all that. I don't want to use that on this wire. And a pair of wire snips works a lot better, but I just didn't think to grab them, so I'll just run these instead. But you can do a lot with this. Keep it. All right, this is paramount, right? What you want to do is take your thumbnail and put it on the top where that wire is, and you want to lay that down. Otherwise, whenever you wrap your thread around it, it'll tend to cut it, right? Which is aggravating, and it makes your fly to where it's not really as secure. So we secure that down really well. A couple of wraps there. Then I'm going to take a brush. I'm going to kind of brush this out. All right, now then, something that you notice whenever you look at bait fish quite often is, well, actually anything in nature, and like airplanes even. Things tend to be lighter on the bottom and darker on the top, so that whenever predatory fish are looking up, they see something that doesn't silhouette as much against the light sky, but whenever they're looking down, it doesn't silhouette as much on the dark bottom. So I'm going to take a little bit of kind of a goldish olive color, more gold than olive on this, and I'm going to take the guard hairs out of this actually. Put those over to the side. I'll use those guys later. All right. Go ahead and trim this down a little bit. Then I'm going to spread it out along the top and secure it down with a few wraps, not really a whole bunch. You want to make sure that it's going to stay, but you've got one more color on top of this, and this is more of a true olive color. I like to operate in the realm of being light with my colors. So this is kind of a light olive color, but it's still, you know, a green color. Pull those guard hairs out of that, or what would be guard hairs if this wasn't fake fur, but it is. All right, I'm gonna trim that off to be pretty uniform. And then I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just going to flatten it out along the top, make sure that it's the places that I want it to be, and secure that down really well. I'm gonna build this head up just a little bit. Whip finish. And you've got a pattern that took 5 minutes to tie. You can lose these things all day long and not really be too heartbroken about it. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of super glue and I'm going to glue the head of this fly down a little bit, and then I'm going to move back just a little bit and put a dot on each side for the eyes. You want to be careful with this stuff because you don't want to impede the action of your fly all that much, but you kind of want your eyes to stay on there. So you don't just have to mash these things down too much. I see people all the time, you know, taking pliers and really mashing them, but in my opinion, you don't really need to do that all that much. And that's because, like, typically I'll let these dry a little bit, and then I'll hit the front of it with like a silicone, like this GE silicone right here. Just get this at, you know, Lowe's or Home Depot or wherever, but just take a bobbin clean it out a little bit. Put a little bit on there, and then just dress the front of your eye with that. Love silicone on flies. It's an underused material in my opinion. Just gang that up on the top of it a little bit, make it to where water can't get under the front edge of your eyeball, and it'll be a lot less likely to come off whenever you're using it. For my next trick, you notice a secondary eye in a lot of these different bait fish. Just a Sharpie. And voila, you're done. Pro tip, if you guys want to add a little bit of sparkle to the gill plate of these guys, something that you can do is take just like a hobby glitter like this. This is a fine glitter, and just sprinkle it to the back side of where your silicone is, and it sticks to that rather well. So this is a pearl sparkle, and you know, typically what I tie flies for are roosterfish, and they don't tend to like too much sparkle, right? They get privy to that really quick. But that's a real quick, easy tie. Anybody can do this. This is a beginner level fly, and like I said, it takes like 5 minutes to make. There's great motion in this. It's got a wonderful profile in the water, and you don't get heartbroken if you lose one. So I'm Donnie with El Gallo Fly Fishing Lodge. Thank you for watching this. If you found value in this, please give us a like, and share us with whomever you think would benefit from this as well. And leave comments if you think that we can improve this somehow, or if you want to see us tie a fly, a certain fly, just put it in the comments below. One other thing, El Gallo Fly Fishing Lodge is actually giving away a free trip for the 2023 roosterfish season. You have to be a part of the newsletter subscription and actively on March 6th. So sign up for it now, and look out for our newsletters, and then we will announce it after the week of March 6th. So March 7th, we'll actually announce it on the Tuesday newsletter. So thanks again for watching, and I hope that you've enjoyed this.